archetypes, origin, functions, manifestations, and more. This is indeed a highly complex subject, however, one of fundamental importance to the student of knowledge. We must understand that these archetypes are tied into the very fabric of existence, and because of this, their undeniable influence reaches everywhere from media to religion to mythology, all the way to our very own internal nature and beyond. But before we go any further, let's talk about the origin of the word. Many people who hear archetype think directly to the work of Carl Jung, who did indeed make the term popular with his groundbreaking research on the subject as it relates to psychology. However, the archetypes far pre-exist Carl Jung and his work. In fact, you could say they pre-exist life as we know it. With that said, let us take a look at one of the oldest recorded definitions, Greek archetypon, from arche primitive and tupon model, primitive model. Something molded first, as a model for the rest. We can see different examples of this within religion, with the archangels. Also in mythology with the Norse pantheon of gods, who all represent a different archetypal energy, or even in literature with the arch-enemy or arch-nemesis. You can find traces of these archetypes any and everywhere you look. Just like everything else we perceive, these archetypes take place and exist on multiple levels. You could say spiritually, psychologically, and physically. Being that this is the case, I find it easiest to address these archetypes as they pertain to each separate level of existence, physical, mental, psychological, and spiritual, starting with the source, spiritual, and then blending it into the psychological and physical. Spiritually, you might say that the celestial bodies, the macrocosm, are the archetypal energy meridians of our universe, which throughout history have always had archetypal characters associated with them. Whether it be the god Ares to the planet Mars and the associated war/fertility energy, or Hermes to the planet Mercury and associated trickster/messenger energy, Lucifer to the planet Venus, or any of the countless other deities with planetary associations. These different meridians each act as one single moving piece of many that make up the mechanism of existence, and they give birth to all other associated phenomena. Now, spiritually within ourselves, the microcosm, our chakras would be our personal archetypal energy meridians, which of course are reflective of the celestial bodies, the macrocosm. And from each of these meridians springs forth endless thoughts, emotions, ideas, etc., that all resonate with their particular meridian of origin and manifest through our inner nature and in turn reflect external circumstances of like nature. The spiritual manifestations of these archetypes move downward onto the psychological or mental plane, and then finally to the physical. Understanding this can shed some light on how the universe literally operates through us and our daily experience. Psychologically, these archetypes manifest through us and our daily lives on a regular basis. You can find this in great detail within the work of Carl Jung. Our mental nature holds within it different levels of archetypes, which all have a particular effect upon our conduct and behavior. There are some of the main, more generalized ones, such as the persona, being the mask that we put on in public and for appearance within different circumstances in life for various reasons such as fear of judgment or simply to fit in. Then we have the shadow, being the hidden, darker aspects of ourselves that we rarely, if ever, acknowledge, but which is, in its vast complexity, the raw materials which we will transmute into growth and development via integration of their essence. Also, the higher self, what you may refer to as our divine I am, or higher awareness, which an individual gradually cultivates an intimate relationship with throughout their process of awakening. Along with these, we have also more condition-specific archetypes, such as laziness. This is one that can hold us back in life, if not kept in check. Also, playfulness, which one might refer to as their inner child, as well as lust, which is deeply associated with our instinctual drive. These are just a few of the many archetypal energies which we embody, all of which have correlated angels, demons, and archetypal characters within religious and philosophical literature. You could even say that these different archetypes have an automatic intelligence of their own and manifest through us, without us even being aware of it or having any control over the matter. And with that, I refer you to a quote from Carl Jung. It may even happen that the archetypal figures, which are endowed with a certain autonomy anyway, will escape from conscious control altogether and become completely independent, thus producing the phenomena of possession. Carl Jung. Another interesting thing to mention is that the occurrences in our everyday lives, even what we perceive to be external from ourselves, also operate in unison with these archetypes. Oftentimes, life will present us with circumstances, relationships, interactions, etc., that are indeed archetypal in nature, meaning in one sense that the lessons that lie behind these different situations are symbolic and embody a very particular energy based on different variables. For example, let's say in life you come across an individual who you are truly and deeply jealous of, for what they have, what they look like, or whatever it may be. Eventually, there comes a point where your jealousy for this person bring forth a period of related, symbolic, archetypal circumstances and inner contemplations, which inevitably ends with you understanding that one must learn to love themselves and their own unique experience, realizing that one should not wish to acquire what someone else has, for the cards we are dealt are what we have to work with. The person who experienced this might say that this period of realization was a direct manifestation of the envy archetype. The lesson and symbolic nature that lies behind this period of realization was that of overcoming envy, circumstantially as well as within oneself, in the words of Carl Jung. Archetypes are, by definition, factors and motifs that arrange the psychic elements into certain images, characterized as archetypal, but in such a way that they can be recognized only from the effect they produce. Carl Jung. To conclude this article, which is based around a highly complex topic that could never stop being elaborated on, and that can never be truly fathomed by a being limited in perspective by a physical vessel, I will say, let us always keep in mind that all of these archetypes exist within us on a deep, multifaceted level. We are their vessels of manifestation, and by understanding them better, we can in turn understand our own nature in a more intimate way. Always try and be vigilant of when life is presenting archetypal lessons, situations, relationships, etc., for much growth and insight can be gained from further analyzing such phenomena. Written by Gage Timothy Krebs Ramirez and Inhabitants.